Hey, welcome into Money Tuesday. Hopefully you've saved enough money for retirement, but if you haven't, there's still hope for you. Stewart Welch from the Welch Group joins us, and you call this the retirement savings, the rules of engagement. We'll get into some of those rules that people need to follow right now, but a sobering statistic that this startled me. People, on average, people who are 50 years old, they've saved how much?
$43,000.
And that's going to last them through, and through health advances and everything, we're living longer, Lord willing. And that's just not going to be enough.
Well, Mike, can you imagine that you retire at 65 and you've got 50, 60,000? That's got to last you the next 30 years.
Oh my goodness.
And so what it means is that most people end up being dependent on Social Security, and it's just not enough money.
Right.
So rules of engagement, it's really, this came from Charles Schwab's daughter who runs his foundation, and she had two rules just to kind of get you, people go, where do I start?
Right.
And the first rule is called the -10 rule. And so if you hadn't substantially started savings, and let's just start within your 20s, you do -10. So if you're in your 20s, -10 would be 10%. So it'd be 10% of your gross income. If you waited till your 30s, -10 would be 20%. So 20% of your gross income, you just kind of march it on up. So if you're in your 50s, it's 40%.
That's a lot. And people living paycheck to paycheck, that could be tough now.
Well, you know, and here's what I tell people is, if you did the math, and you're in your 50s and you said, I've got to save 40%, and you did the math and came up with whatever that number is, I can show you hundreds of families that are living on that amount of money. So it's about making really tough decisions.
Right. Do I need cable television?
Do I need cable television? Can I get to a less expensive house, less expensive cars? And you make a lot of decisions. But here's what's happened. They've cruised for 30 years, right? They hadn't saved anything.
Right.
So now they've really got to get started, or you're going to have a very miserable 30 years or so in retirement.
But I guess that this could apply to people who've put money in the 401ks, and when the recession hit, bam, you know, that got sucked down. So this -10 rule could also help them as well, right?
It could. So I think you want to, it's a great place to kind of take stock of where you are.
Okay, then you also have the 25 times rule. Explain
So a
that
lot
one.
of people say, in addition to Social, I'll give you an example. In addition to Social Security and my pension, I figure I'm going to need $40,000 a year to draw off of savings. Well, the question is, how much capital do I need to build up in order to be able to do that? And that's the 25 rule. So the 25 times 40,000 would be $1 million. So it takes $1 million to produce 40,000 a year for the entire retirement. And this is inflation adjusted, which means that 40,000 would go up a little bit each year to offset rising cost of living.
Right.
But it's a really big number. And then my number one rule of engagement is, if you look and you realize that you're off track, if you gaze into your future and say, I'm not, I don't have enough money, my number one rule of engagement is just do something.
Yes, any little bit will help, right?
Anything, just do something. Start some savings program, sell something, and use the money to start a retirement plan.
And I know if it still seems overwhelming to folks to do that on your own, a certified financial planner, I'm assuming, could help, right?
Yeah, they can go to cfp.net and they can find a planner near them.
And as somebody who's certified, you're
Certified financial planner, that's a great place to start.
All right, good deal. All right. Thank you much there, Stewart. Well, no award needed, Sam.